Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, we bring you on an expedition through the depths of the movie industry to discuss the amazing, terrible, and amazingly terrible movies based on video games. Our hosts' entire lives are dedicated to a single goal. Probably answering the age-old question, do games make good movies?
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
I'm so sad.
I know.
Let's just get going.
Why are you sad?
I'll tell you why when we get through the introduction.
Okay. I am Kaori Takee, and welcome to the Popcorn Talks where we talk about video game adapted movies. And the question is, do games make good movies? And we are going to talk about Street Fighter from 1994, starring Van Damme as our age-old American. So you can find me at KAORIOUS on Instagram as well as Twitter. You can follow the whole entire crew at hashtag VGFilms, send those comments and all that good stuff about video game adapted movies. And I've got some great people with me, starting over here with Roger Craig Smith.
Hello.
And where can people find you?
At Twitter, at Roger Craig Smith.
Very, very simple. And next to you.
You can find me, I'm Soapbox Mark Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Soapbox Mark. The reason why I'm so down, Street Fighter, specifically Street Fighter 2, is the video game that made me really into video games.
Okay.
And now we have this movie here well, we're gonna get into more about it, but it was so many wrong moves.
And this wasn't by accident. Right?
No. I have three of these. I have one of which signed by the game's director. So
gosh,
I love the Street Fighter series and the story, and we have two terrible Street Fighter movies, this being one of them, and one really good one called Assassin's Fist, which I don't know if any of you have seen, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be our next one.
No. We'll get back to it.
Probably wouldn't have rented a movie that said Assassin's Fist without thinking I was getting myself into something bad.
Without the Street Fighter preface?
Exactly. You might just go like, that's not for me. That's the wrong movie for me.
I was in the wrong section.
But they also had the Chun-Li one that came out.
Not good.
Not good.
When you cast one of the Black Eyed Peas as Vega, probably not.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the Black Eyed Peas was Vega.
Oh.
And Bison was a businessman. This, however, this movie, while doing most of it with the wrong idea, had some really good performances in it.
Raúl Juliá.
Raúl Juliá.
All right.
Yeah.
My goodness, Raúl Juliá.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I've learned in researching this movie that went into this movie, and it's crazy, like, realizing what went wrong. There's a lot of things that caused it to create this movie. I saw it twice, by the way.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't...
Self-punishment.
And you know what's crazy, guys, is when I watched it in the theaters in 1994, I thought it was terrible. But I watched it again twice.
And you were right.
And no.
I was
I enjoyed it.
Right back then.
I enjoyed it.
Wise beyond my years.
It like hurt so good. It was
really.
I don't know what it was.
Well, that's just nostalgia at this point, right?
I don't know.
Like it's campy, so it's kind of cutesy, sort of like, oh, look at what they thought were good
I just
special
started
effects.
to really appreciate the cheesiness of it.
And
the thing is, I don't think it was meant to be cheesy. It was meant to be a real action movie.
Sad.
But what are your guys' relation to Street Fighter and your first encounter with Street Fighter the movie?
Well, I said my piece first, so what about yourself, sir?
My connection is that I can do the splits like Jean-Claude Van Damme, so I mean that's how I became a fan at that point. No, I mean obviously, in full disclosure, I'm the worst guest for you guys right now because I haven't seen that movie in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces.
No, you're
but
the best
most
guest.
infamous
perfect, yes.
versions.
Well, I've seen enough to know that I don't want to see it, but. No, I obviously played the games when I was growing up and that kind of thing. So and still even the remakes, and I know they keep refreshing it. So I'm familiar in that sense.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
and I do have opinions.
You do. That's very important.
That does
help.
We want to
these
hear
types
opinions.
of programs.
Yeah. Very true.
Better than knowledge.
I agree.
See?
See what I did there?
Already there.
How about
an opinion.
disagree?
10 steps
Oh, that's even
ahead.
better, huh?
Yeah.
No, you're wrong.
That's where problems
You're
happen.
wrong.
Incorrect.
No, I think I'm right. Okay, so let's break it down. It was directed by Stephen E. D'Souza. And he is actually one of the few screenwriters that hit over $2 billion in the box office. That's a pretty...
Die Hard.
Yeah, the Die Hard. And then he was, Angelina Jolie's Lara Croft. He helped with that.
Yeah, he wrote the first one.
He's a huge screenwriter.
So we'll see him again.
Yeah.
But he's done a lot of successful movies, but somehow this movie failed in terms of quality for the masses.
Do you have the box office?
I do.
From it?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, the opening day was 3,124,775. It grossed 9.5 million on its opening weekend against The Santa Claus and Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
And overall, it didn't break 100,000 worldwide. It was 99,423,000 and change.
No, 100 million worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
which is like $3 billion in 1994 money when you think about it. I mean,
it was a lot.
It was a blockbuster.
But by the next weekend, it dropped exponentially because of, I guess, all the word of mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little tragic.
So
but
Steven D'Souza, right?
Yeah, Steven D'Souza, and he obviously did a lot of movies, and he's done a lot of TV shows as well.
Obviously. So we can look forward to Minecraft, the movie, coming out later, right? I'm assuming at this point.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
they're doing the story mode game coming out.
I'm curious to see how they would make a Minecraft movie.
That's gonna.
A lot of building.
Pick yourself back up from one.
over there.
I guess if Wreck-It Ralph can happen successfully.
minecart. Yeah. True. True. But that wasn't necessarily. I mean, that was paying homage to video games. So it wasn't necessarily like a game. It wasn't like a movie about one particular. I mean, it was, but one fictitious game.
Minecraft at its core is. I mean, we're getting a little off topic.
Sorry,
it's about. No, it's fine.
Right now.
No, it's perfect. Since
did you guys hear about this whole OJ thing?
Right.
That's kind of crazy, right?
Stealing his own merchandise. That's bizarre.
What? No, I was talking about orange juice. What do you? That's right.
I'm like so confused right
You're
now.
never gonna have me on ever again.
No, please, every week.
Nope.
Okay, but look, guys. So you're more than welcome. There are tons of things that went down to make this movie a disaster. I liked it now, but it only had a $30 million budget, so way surpassed
35.
During its opening week.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big budget.
It's a pretty big budget.
Not when you think that $8 million of it was spent buying Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I mean, can do the splits. So.
When Capcom agreed to greenlight this, they were sure that they wanted Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raúl
Juliá.
Excuse me.
It happens.
Yeah. It happened.
The thing about Ra's al Ghul playing M. Bison. Like you don't think about an amazing actor like Raúl Juliá and associate him with this role, but he is a consummate professional and does his damnedest when it comes to a performance. And this, albeit his final performance due to cancer, was remarkable. Despite being silly and the lines being poor, he gave his all and made it that much more believable. I sided with him more than I sided with the AN.
Well, he was very theatrical in a very good way. He really captured a crazy M. Bison for sure, and I thought he did a great job, and it was his swan song, and he was dying, and apparently during the filming he was weakening, and people were thinking we need to feed him, we need to muscle him up.
Really?
So he was really struggling while he was making this film, but he really wanted to finish it, and he did.
Now I feel terrible.
It's for his kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
Well, here we are skewering it, and I just feel awful now.
His parts are fun. Like if everybody put as much life into the performance as he did, the movie probably wouldn't have suffered as much.
I was just gonna say, well, like without him, do you think it would have just been like we wouldn't have even hit the 100 million mark worldwide? No. It would have been. It made $50, but it had Jean-Claude straight to.
On the flip side, Jean-Claude was probably, allegedly a big reason why it faltered. He had an addiction while he was filming it.
Okay.
He admitted it to it eventually.
Or is it just that this is a premise, like shouldn't have even really ever been entertained?
Well, he was going through a third divorce and all that stuff. So he was going through some stuff. And
if it was somebody else, if
Raúl Juliá was dying of cancer, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and turned in a good performance.
No, he has no excuse. I'm not saying he has
That's
no
what I'm
excuse.
saying. But I'm just, this is me disagreeing.
No, I'm listening.
This is why he's here.
It's good pod.
I like it.
It's good for pod.
Sweet pod, bro.
Well, no, but I'm saying, because you were saying that Jean-Claude was going through some troubling times, which is maybe a contributing factor as to why this wasn't all that great.
And yet they were, he caused. I hate saying this, but this is what I'm reading. Or obviously, I'm not like the fact lady, but he caused a lot of stumbling when they were filming the production. And one time, excuse me, he read. I'm looking at my notes here.
You don't have it memorized?
No, I don't have it memorized.
The one thing from a gamer perspective, from the character of Guile was created as an easy character for Americans to use. Like that is from Capcom.
Yes, but they were adamant about Van Damme.
Despite this is a guy who's supposed to be an American hero, like no matter what military he's supposed to be, and he's got 2 American flag tattoos on his arm.
It
Very
was like
patriotic,
cheesy looking,
and terrible hair, wonderful hair. But despite that, he's supposed to be clean cut, apple pie, baseball. So you get the man with the most indistinguishable accents to play the most American man in the world, and that is already the biggest sign of like.
So America, are you going to go home or are you going with me?
Who is going to come with me?
Come with me. Come with me.
So
bad.
So I found that there's a part where he goes, go, I'll catch you later, and then he said, cut. And it was a scene where they only could use it once, and they had to redo it because he said cut on his own because he thought he said, I cut your ladder.
What?
Yeah, I know.
He said it like I cut your ladder?
See, the problem with that is you go back, you think through, and you're like, well, when did he have trouble with dialogue in this movie?
When did he not?
Quite a bit.
See, that's the thing, it's all the time, and almost every other line that he said is indistinguishable.
I will say though, he did deliver the line where they said, "I'm too old for this shit," and because of that line, the rating became PG-13, which they wanted it to be, and they wanted it to be PG-13, but they initially got a rated R because I guess there was some kind of real life problem. What's the word? News issue. Going on. So,
there's a controversy similar to the events in the film. It was around
too close to home.
Thank you. I was.
It was around the first, like Iraq 1.
Okay.
And they wanted the message to be like, this is something that could happen in a real thing, except fireballs. But despite that
it became
because they did that in the movie, and they had a flashlight, and it's like, look, it's a fireball.
It became a rated R movie, and they didn't want that. They wanted PG-13.
They cut a lot,
and so they cut a lot, and then it became rated G. So they're like, let's throw in this word shit.
Yes.
And it became PG-13.
Yes. Throwing a shit, you get a good rating.
Yeah.
That's the adults for you.
And they were very adamant about having it released December, Christmas time in 1994 because. It's the time where Hasbro was in connection with them, and they wanted Van Damme to be kind of the G.I. Joe.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like time restraints and just a lot of pressure for the director and the writer, and just a lot of things going on into this movie that made it.
A lot of people thought they were going to make a lot of money.
They did.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, they made back their budget, but at what a cost?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Dignity.
Yeah.
Integrity.
I mean, most of these actors though really didn't have much to lose.
A lot of them went off on their own pretty well.
There are 4 people that had careers here, and that's Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was in the middle of his career, Raúl Juliá, who was at the end of his, Ming-Na Wen, who played Chun-Li, who is now on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course.
She's been around ever since.
She's absolutely fantastic.
This was her launching pad.
Seemingly.
I think
and
so.
Kylie Minogue.
Which,
but Kylie Minogue.
She was already a pop star.
Yeah.
So,
from an acting
that's what I mean.
She's a celebrity more than she was like an actress or an actor.
And they actually, she was the only person that he didn't cast, and he decided to cast her when he was on his way on a plane because he saw a picture of her and he's like, okay, let's cast her.
She's cute.
Exactly. She was on the list of the 30 most attractive people in the world. And
she's a beautiful woman.
You know.
So it worked. And it's funny because she actually talks about now how she misses acting and she kind of wants to go back to that. She's done a couple things, but
but I would argue most people don't know her for that. They know her for can't
get you out of my head.
Which was like a renaissance of her career, like when that came.
This is the most recent.
Yeah. She's also very petite and tiny.
Yeah, she's super teeny.
Very tiny.
Have you met her?
No.
Oh,
No.
Petite and tiny.
Yeah, but it would feel good for me to just sort of tower over someone like that. So,
what do you guys think of the casting choices in general? Like, do you think they're well picked?
I mean, the thing is, they could have cast anybody. The way that they dressed everybody up made them look like the character, because they gave Grandel Bush, who played Balrog, they gave him the haircut, and so Ken, he looked like
sweep the leg, Johnny.
He looked like the dude from Full House.
Oh, interesting.
Dave Coulier. He looked like Dave Coulier. It was bizarre. But in terms. When the game came out, everybody had sort of like a basic like one line description of what type of a character they were. So that's not, to be fair, back when they were making the movie, that's not a lot to go off of. But to be like, I was an ex-boxer, so I became a cameraman. I was a sumo wrestler, so I became a camera technician at a news station.
He wasn't even Japanese. He was Hawaiian.
Which was nice. Edward Honda isn't Japanese.
He's Japanese.
Edward Honda?
Yes.
He's half Japanese.
Yeah, but he made him Hawaiian.
Yeah, but it was nice to have him. I heard in a behind the scenes they were talking about the racial equality with the rest of the movie. There's plenty of there are Japanese actors in there. It was nice to have a Hawaiian actor in there. Everybody I think was represented well enough. As much as I am an E-Honda user, so I know that, but
I was a little disappointed with I like them, but the Ken and Ryu is correct. Everyone says Ryu. Especially Ken, because he wasn't, I don't want to be a dick, but he wasn't muscular at all, and you're supposed to be a martial artist, and even this guy wasn't very fit, and it's like, oh, come on.
The thing, Ryu is the main character of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why it's odd that they wanted this.
Not in Street Fighter the movie.
Yeah. Undisputed main character. Everybody knows the Hadouken.
Hadouken.
Yeah. See? Hadouken. Instantly.
And he actually, the director wanted someone else initially. He wanted.
Oh, really?
This is Japanese guy. Now I'm looking for my notes, but it ended up being him.
George. Byron Mann. Byron Mann is the guy.
This is Byron Mann. Yeah. He's good. Oh, hey, they initially wanted Kenya Sadawa.
I don't know.
I don't know that either.
He's a martial artist, and
all right.
But
he did a oh, there he is.
That guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably recognize him.
Character actor.
Yeah.
All right.
I see that.
So, what else? So I'm mentioning the characters because I was reading up and I found out that initially the director/writer only wanted to put in a limited amount of characters because he felt like putting in all those people would really make it kind of like a cluster, right? So he used this like comparison. He said, how many of the 7 dwarves can you name? No one can name all 7, so he didn't want more than 7 of the main Street Fighter people. But eventually they just kept adding and adding. Like even Chun-Li wasn't someone he initially wanted.
That's also kind of ambitious to say that, like, you know, something as iconic as the 7 dwarves that like children have grown up with, that's rated G, that somehow is just like what's going to happen to this movie. It's like, I don't think that was going to be the the saving grace or anything.
That's pretty high thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, look, they can't name all 7 dwarves, so we shouldn't have more than 7 characters in this. And it's like, you're not going to crank out a Snow White right now. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, but I can see in his perspective, maybe he just really wanted to add more heart to each character. But I think we kind of got it for the most part.
But if you're going to do something based on a game like this, like, you know, and you want fans of the game or people, it's like, then you have to be true to the lore of the game, I guess, and include those characters. Otherwise, you're going to have people who are fans of the game going, "Where was Ryu?"
Yeah,
right.
Well, most of the
Keen, Keen, pronounced Ken.
Keen,
Kamai, Cammy. Most of the characters in the movie, they get sort of like one-line descriptors, which is how as much as they get in the game.
Yep.
Vega never says a word, which is fine. That's Camille right there.
Cammy.
She's got her the gauntlets that she has in the game. She's got her bathing suit type.
I just see
outfit.
Kylie Minogue, to be honest. No, I'm just kidding.
It's easy to. Like, that's the thing, is when you get somebody as
I just can't get her out of my head.
There it is. You set it up, knocked it down.
Punch.
That's our show, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Drop the mic.
You can. It's on a thing.
That's true.
They really have looks alone to go off of. They have British brawler, they have boxer, they have the fact that Zangief wasn't.
They did a good job with Zangief.
Zangief was great because he was played limitedly. The fact that Balrog was wearing his boxing outfit under his regular gear was ridiculous.
I know, I thought that too.
The idea that that E Honda's Hawaiian shirt got torn and shredded enough to where it was hanging below his waist and it looked like his traditional sumo gear.
I don't think it did.
That's what they were trying to do. That's what they were trying to do. I thought it worked out, but that's me. But with Dalsim being just the scientist, Blanca being Charlie, they're putting two characters together. Charlie Nash turned into Charlie Blanca. Yeah, Dalsim.
It doesn't. I didn't even catch on that it was really Dalsim until he lost his hair.
But you never saw that happen.
Right.
It was a scene where it was like, go save the world, and then when he comes back, he's bald and missing most of his clothes.
Well, he had to save the world.
Yeah.
Did you like the how they created Blanca?
See, like that. What I was going to say was the characters having too much time to dedicate to the characters. That's beautiful, beautiful baby
Toto
Blanca. Spending too much time with too many of the characters diluted what little of the story there was. The story was Bison was trying to take over the world. Guile was trying to stop him, but Bison had a secret weapon. In Blanca, he was going to create an army of super soldiers. And if they had focused more on that part, then it might have been a little bit more like, that's one of the funniest scenes in the damn movie. But
and I think that's what he was saying to Souza when he was saying that we shouldn't have too many of the characters in the movie. But I agree with it. Yeah, at the same time, it was nice to see all those characters.
The Tim Burton Batman had already come out, right? By this point?
92,
the first one,
think
at least.
So.
Do you think that's what they were trying to just sort of like emulate? They're thinking that like this is going to be in the same sort of, like lore of like the superhero thing, so let's make it kind of campy and
that's
sort
possible.
of over the top.
It's interesting because I was reading that they didn't want it to be like a Mortal Kombat-esque tournament movie.
Yeah.
They wanted it to be more like a James Bond where M. Bison is the totalitarian and he's trying to conquer the world and he's a danger, and then all these people unite to go kick his ass is basically what they tried to do, and they did it, but it wasn't very effective.
Yeah,
that's the story of the game.
Yeah.
Is M. Bison is a otherworldly totalitarian leader who's trying to take over the world with his organization Shadaloo. They made it a country. And he's got his cronies that fight on his behalf, and he uses the front of the tournament in order to eliminate his biggest offenders. And you could have still shoehorned that in without trying to make it a war movie. If you focused more on making it a spy movie as opposed to a war movie, probably could have been a little bit more successful.
Yeah, they went very far from that Bond idea. What'd you guys... Oh, now I'm brain farting. What'd you guys think of there was this one thing that really bothered me. But...
Oh, there's plenty. There's plenty that bothered me. The frame that was just showing is one of the genuine laugh moments of the movie. They're trapped. Well, they're not trapped, but they're about to fight in this one area. Chun-Li and the camera crew send. From very far away, for some reason, a truck full of explosives to blow them all sky high and eliminate the threat. And it's happening on this closed circuit television, and as it's rolling towards them, Zangief goes, "Change the channel!" And that's one of the, that's
waka,
funny.
Waka.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when Zangief said,
You got
paid?
Yeah, he's just this dude who's like, yeah, Bison's the most ultimate supreme leader. Yeah. He's mindless. He's a professional wrestler.
Loyal.
Yeah, he's loyal.
Well, what do you guys think of the stunts in this movie? I mean, that's important here.
There really weren't.
Aside from the casting?
I mean, apparently they really wanted to use a lot of their moves that they are known for in the game, but it just didn't work out. Yeah,
saw a couple.
They even had the Hadouken fireball a little bit.
It was a palm strike, but then it was like a flash of light, so that was supposed to be a fireball. Honda did his diving body attack. We saw the
and Bison's
flash
thing
kick.
here. Which,
the Psycho Crusher. There was kind of a Shoryuken from Ken. He just kind of did it as spinning uppercut and was like, I punched him, and it was bizarre.
A lot of the stunts were if you blink, you'll miss it.
Because they didn't
want you to see it.
There were no establishing shots of anything. It was just like, oh, by the way, this is and
now here comes the move.
Things are blowing up.
Yeah.
That's where the budget suffers, because instead of setting up like, oh, they have a stealth boat now. It's entering stealth mode, or they put a visor down, press a button, and then they like Star Trek back in their chairs and they're in stealth mode.
Apparently, a lot of the people on set in this production ended up just going to Thai massages quite often.
Really?
I mean, I'm reading about this, and some of these actors are talking about their past, and they're just saying, "Yeah, dude, we went off to enjoy Thailand a little bit."
Yeah.
I still don't understand how, with a $35 million budget, $10 million of that or more being spent on actors, you shoot in Australia, which is relatively cheap to shoot in, but then you shoot on location in Thailand at a temple and on the river. Where you make those concessions, I don't understand. And well,
obviously the movie, had issues because of their laxness. And when the movie production was supposed to be done, 2 weeks later, they called Byron Mann and said, "You got to come up to Canada, so we're going to finish shooting some stuff."
Oh, they had to do.
Yeah. So it was kind of a messy production.
Well, it shows.
It does. It does.
The finished product.
And one of the standout no business characters to do here. I don't know if you have a picture. Is T-Hawk.
I might have a picture. Oh, I didn't.
There's an actor by the name of Greg Rainwater. Bless his heart. He had maybe 5 or 6 lines. He was a part of Guile's strike team with Cammy. And when they were infiltrating the base, one of the very last things he has on a Native American headband. And it was like, "What are you wearing that thing for?" "Oh, it's a Native American tradition. It's for courage and going into battle." "Oh, you should have brought one for the 3 of us." That was the only thing to tell us that was Nighthawk. Or T-Hawk. Possibly not. I'm in Mortal Kombat mode. T-Hawk, which is not fun. I would like to see a director's cut of this movie, because I saw a lot of cut fight scenes.
Oh.
Like a lot of Zangief and E Honda's fight was cut. They apparently tore the place apart. And not just the stupid Godzilla thing.
Yeah.
There's too much. There's too much. But
do you have any good things to say about this movie, Mark?
Yes, I do have one good thing to say. "You still refuse to accept my godhood? Keep your own god. In fact, this might be a good time to pray to him. For I beheld Satan as he fell from heaven, like lightning." Which was Raúl Juliá's last line of the movie.
Raúl Juliá said most of the good lines.
Yeah.
In this movie.
He was probably the only one capable of delivering. That's what it sounds like.
Well, basically, Dalzim is a scientist, and he's brainwashing soon-to-be Blanca by showing him really awful things that are happening in this world, like nuclear disasters. And M.
Nazis.
Bison is like, "I don't understand what he's so afraid of. This is normal stuff, He says it obviously in a different dialogue in a much better fashion, but I thought it was hilarious.
When they're talking about, of course, when they're talking about Bisonopolis, which is the big city that he wants to make in the shape of the Shadaloo skull. It's this really throwaway line where he's like, "Make the food court bigger. All of the big brands will probably want to be a part of it." And then somebody walks in and is like, "Bison," and it's like really small, There's really tiny throwaway BS lines like that are
little bits of gems.
Yeah, but that's the only part where in between there's just nothing.
Which sounds like the kind of thing that he might have come up with just sitting there. Make the food court bigger.
But interesting fact, we were talking about the characters. If we do the math, it's 90 minutes to divide between 15 characters. That sounds kind of ridiculous.
Well, but what do you need out of most of those characters? I mean, you don't need a full movie's worth of story arc and character arc and all that kind of stuff, but
there are a lot of people
you need Kylie Minogue looking good.
She didn't really have a big part, and she's supposed to be the lead. Chun-Li got kind of thrown in there. I think they did a really good job with Vega.
Vega was the only person that I think was perfect to the point, because he didn't have to say anything. He was a pretty looking Spanish dude. He had the on one of the Japanese soldiers, very thick
that's
Japanese
Kenya, right?
Yeah.
He's the one who they wanted to play Ryu.
And they gave him 3 lines in English, one and then several in Japanese. But it was just like, oh, well, cool. This is actually something that's we're in a global. We are. It's literally the allied nations. I see the British influence. I see the Japanese influence. Don't see the American influence. Just because the man's Danish, but Belgian, that one's Belgian, Dutch, Belgian.
There's some
Dutchish.
scenes where he spoke in French.
Dalsum,
Of course.
just because he wasn't a yogi looking for water for his village.
I wish he could have stretched a little bit.
His acting chops, maybe, yeah. Blanca / Charlie, that was a weird
I felt like
shoehorn.
that was unnecessary.
You could have just made, it's just a dude that they made a thing, because
It ended up being Guile's best friend that they just... And Guile almost tries to kill him.
Guile lands in the lab, he gets held up by him, and without even hesitating goes, Charlie, what have they done to you? And it's like, what are you talking about? It's green with... How?
Yeah, made the leap. On his own.
Totally, just like he could have been anybody else. He's just looking for somebody. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what it is. That's what's really sad about it. And who's going to come with me? I hate him.
Do you hate him?
I'm an American.
Yeah, I will take my coffee and my baseball and my women's.
He was badass in Expendables, though.
Yeah, but that's because he was
That's what
Jean-Claude
he
Van
should
Damme.
be doing. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't.
I put this picture because I wanted to show that tattoo that looks so terrible on his arm. The American tattoo. It just didn't.
The water on the
The water
transfer tattoo. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's sad now. Well, actually, it's not, because we have better films now. But seeing what Machinima did with the Mortal Kombat franchise in making that and legitimizing that, and seeing what the Assassin's Fist guys did for
Again, terrible
Street Fighter.
name.
Again,
Assassin's Fist. It's just wrong.
Well, no, then they could do the sequel.
Mom, can I rent Assassin's Fist? No. No.
Well, then
Rated G.
you got the
No, it's
sequel,
not.
Assassin's Pissed.
Oh, look at
Then
that.
you just keep going.
Oh, okay.
Then when they get older, Assassin's Cyst.
Oh, man. Look at you've thought of that, haven't you? Yeah, you're
Well,
rattling them off.
it's on the back of the headband.
Yeah.
But
it's almost as if you have an assassin's list.
Oh, look at you guys.
Waka.
You know my dog's name is Waka.
What's that?
My dog's
Waka?
Flame?
Waka, yeah.
Waka Flame?
Waka Flame.
Sure.
Jabberwocky?
Like Fozzie the Bear.
Okay.
Waka!
Waka Waka.
That was fantastic.
Waka.
Do birthday parties.
That's what I
What
do.
would you rate this movie
awkward.
since we do ratings? And I know last time Mortal Kombat we did some Mortal Kombat weird ratings, so
How many Assassin's Fists do I rate this?
How many
Okay.
fists
How
Whatever
many
you want.
fists?
would we give this? Which also just sounds
As a straight up fan, I would probably give this a 1.5.
out of how many fists?
that's pretty high
Out of
considering
5?
all the things you were saying about it right now.
1.4 of that star is Raúl Juliá.
Out of 5
Okay.
or 10?
Out of 5.
5 fists.
Out of 5.
And that
1.5 fists.
Is that point one?
That point 1 is
Vega?
for Change the Channel.
Oh.
Ooh.
Did you rewatch it recently? Like for this?
I watched it today.
You watched it today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry.
No, it was-
It's probably
So
like in a
it didn't
bad
have
mood.
any-
Yes.
Yeah.
No redeeming qualities.
No. The redeeming qualities is that there are better things out there. The story has gotten better since. One of the things about it is they didn't relate it to the game. That's
Yes.
one of the things about it that I don't like is they took basic elements of characters, but the game itself is much more interesting.
Well, the game itself, everyone loves Street Fighter, and they had a great idea to make this into a movie, but they destroyed it.
The problem is they wanted to go away from Mortal Kombat when Mortal Kombat did it right.
Yes.
Street Fighter is at its core a movie about a fighting tournament. Or is a game about a fighting tournament. So you can. And they had the animated series for years,
Yeah.
which was super successful. And the story now is so complicated, not necessarily complicated, but it's much more colorful. There's a lot more ways that you can go. They tried to do anthology movies where they started with the Chun-Li and they were going to go from there and do others.
And it didn't work out.
No, it was because they didn't entirely do Chun-Li's story, and the casting was weird, and Bison was a businessman as opposed to a dude who's filled with literally psycho energy, breaming with it, and this was just this missed the mark. And the even worse, not just the movie, is, do you know about Street Fighter the movie, the game?
Street Fighter the movie, the game?
Yes.
They did that?
So not only did they do that, they digitized the actors like Mortal Kombat, but it wasn't the Mortal Kombat people who did it, so they didn't know how to do the process right.
Yeah.
And it was just god-awful.
How did it do
Terrible.
with the viewers?
It was awful. Yeah. It's a terrible. It doesn't. The problem is you made a game based on a game that's already really good, and then they broke it.
So do games based on movies about games make good games?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
No.
That's some like Inception, dream within a dream question, but
that is exactly what they tried to do to Street Fighter. And so relating to the game, it didn't really
make a good movie.
No.
There's so much you can make a game about Sagat and Ryu first meeting. That's how Sagat got the scar on his chest from Shoryuken from Ryu. Like you make it a journey about Ryu finding himself. He is a fighter who is constantly trying to better himself by fighting as many people as he can, and he just Sunday he showed up in Super Smash Brothers, and now he can fight the likes of, I don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is. Some hedgehog.
You should make a movie.
Oh God,
about that.
I just
it would be great.
What? I'm right next to you,
That'd
dude.
be great. I know.
Oh, Lord. No, that was a genuine reaction. He's like, oh God. I mean, no, if they were to do it, I mean, I hope that you would get the job.
I think everything about this movie was
it was Jean-Claude. It'd be good.
In relation to the game.
Got to go fast.
Sorry.
It's cool. It was just very twisted. All the characters that you think would be important by playing the game were not as important by watching the movie, and that was what I found disappointing. Prime example, Ryu.
Most characters.
Ryu.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm glad you corrected me.
Yeah, it's okay. I just want you to know, like,
I did the American
it's a cultural
way.
thing, and I just very insensitive. I'm just saying, like, if you could just
But I would give it a 2-star, and before watching it twice this weekend, I would have given it a 1-star. It improved for me.
Wow.
No, because you said you liked
doubly.
You saw it, you liked it, and then you watched it 2 times, and that still just warranted a 2-star.
2 stars.
I think I liked it. I enjoyed.
But then why would you give it 2
cheesiness.
stars? Like,
because I wouldn't go see it again.
But then you can't like it that.
Yeah, I don't like it that
Your
much.
logic is flawed.
We got some
maybe a little bit.
I mean, it's like,
psychologic.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your In-N-Out burger? I did. Did you go there again? I did. Would you ever eat there again? Nope.
Five Guys all the way.
But you enjoyed it. Like, I'm never going to go again, though.
If I was hanging out, for example.
You said you enjoyed it. Yeah, but I'm never going to. You see what I'm saying?
If I was hanging out with Mark, and Mark said, do you want to watch Street Fighter? I would say, yeah, sure.
That's the difference, is I wouldn't.
There you go.
I would watch it with a bunch of people who wanted to get drunk, and maybe Mystery Science Theater 3000.
There you go.
Drinking game, Street Fighter.
Oh, God.
How many special moves can we see?
Every time you hear a bad accent, we do, and it's like 3 minutes in.
Finish your bottle.
Yeah, call Uber.
Well, that being said, that wraps up our breakdown of this Street Fighter movie. And do games make good movies? And in this case, it did not.
It did not. It failed miserably.
I'm gonna watch Mortal Kombat again.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat, yeah. Well, so did you like Mortal Kombat, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, or like Resident Evil does a decent job, like taking stuff from that. It's like,
maybe next time we'll do a happier movie.
I don't know if there's anything. So Super Mario Brothers, happier?
I was actually thinking about Super Mario Brothers. I'm not even kidding.
I'll be a Goomba.
I mean...
All right, wait, you want to be happy.
And it might be one of those movies that I
Yeah.
like but never want to see again.
Okay. Yeah.
One of those things for me.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. So that being said, you guys hop over to Twitter and send us some questions, comments, what movie you want us to review next, #VG Films. Also, you can follow the Popcorn Talk Network on Twitter at Popcorn Talk, right? The Popcorn Talk. And you can go to YouTube at Popcorn Talk Network and check out all of our movie reviews and all that good stuff. In the meantime, where can everyone follow you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at SoapboxMark. I'm going to be at E3 for the next couple of days.
Nice.
It's going to be a good time checking out all the Star Wars stuff and anything else like it. Street Fighter V. Hopefully they have Street Fighter V playable. And I'm going to pwn noobs as Ryu in Smash.
Ooh.
Take that.
Good for you.
Noobs. Using a noob tube?
Yeah.
Yeah!
I hope you periscope some of that stuff for people who can't
Periscope.
Did you see the Battlefront footage today?
Oh, yeah, I did. So
go. Where
good.
can people find you?
Twitter at Roger Craig Smith.
Easy
Easiest
enough.
thing.
Please come back.
Boring and easy.
Yeah, please come back.
I will.
Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, maybe Super Mario, we can all watch it together.
There you go. Again. I watched it twice. I give it 2 stars. But I'll never, ever see it again.
See it again.
I mean,
But I liked
what a
it.
Trip.
But I'm never going to. I don't want to.
I'm going to say it's Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper, question mark.
Yeah.
And you can follow me at KAORIOUS. That's Kaori's Instagram as well as Twitter. And thank you guys so much for joining us. And don't forget hashtag VGFilms on the Popcorn Talk Network. Thank you.
Hadouken!
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.